Let us start with the first chapter in Python, that is data types and variables. Variables are the very fundamental building blocks of any computer language. When you try to work with data, let us say for example, you want to do an arithmetic operation, you want to take two numbers and to add them. Or let's say you want to figure out whether or not 5 is greater than 3. Any sort of an operation you try to do on any computer language, you need a variable which is going to act as a container to hold a value. In this lesson, we shall be learning about variables and data types.
Now the first line of code we shall write, what I want to see do over here, I want to write a script that performs mathematical operation on two numbers. Now this is not a Python code, right? This is just English, isn't it? So if you want to write down in English, typically when do you want to write down in English? When you want to describe that what you're trying to do below it, right? If you describe that, so that has to be started with a hash symbol. If you do so, then Python will be ignoring this line. So this hash, when we add and we write something, we call this thing a comment. So a comment is written by hash. So using hash, you can write down a lot of lines. So you can like explain the story, what you're trying to do in this particular code. That is why we have this hash. Let us say, as I told you, I want to do some mathematical operations on two numbers. So how do I do that? See, I can do like this. We used to do that, in our school days, like x equal to 10 and y equal to 20 and z equals to x plus y. And we can try to see what is the value of z. If you want to see that, you just want to print z. So it will be showing you the value of z, what the value of z is, right? Run this, right click, run script 1. And you can see the output is how much? 30, which is correct, right? So exactly this is how we can keep on going. I can get like, let's say, if I make it A is x plus y, B is let's say x minus y, and let's say C is equal to x multiplied by y, and D is equals to x divided by y. Okay. If we do so, and we print like A, comma B, comma C, comma D, all of these values. If I do so, we'll find out it prints the values. Say 30, A plus B, minus 10, minus y, x into y is 200, and this is 0.5. X 10 by 20, right? Great. So we are actually taking two variables. So these things, when you're writing, it is called variable equals to value. That is this format. So this is called a variable and this is called the value. So whatever value you can put in the variable will be having that particular thing basically. So when I'm saying that x equal to 10 or x equal y equal to 20, what I'm trying to say is that basically, let's say I have a container like this. So let's say this is a container. And in this container, so this container we are calling x like that. And when I'm saying x equal to 10, then what I'm doing, I am just putting this value 10 within the container. I'm putting this value 10 within the container. That's what I'm doing. So that is x equal to 10. Let's say similarly, I have another container and it is like, y equal to 20. If it is like that, x equal to 10, y equal to 10. So this is y, let's say. I'll delete this x written over here, 10 written over here. So this is going to be like y. And this is 20. So if we do so, so now x and y. So now when I'm writing that, let's say z equal to x plus y. So what is happening? Z over here, this guy is z, and I'm writing x plus y. So it is like, so these two containers we have. So whatever we have data within these containers, let's say that is your 10 and 20, right? In x you have 10, correct? And here we have 20. So these two data that we have, so this is x and that is y. So what we are doing when I'm saying x plus y, so you're kind of taking both of these things together and you're pouring 10 from here, 20 from here. So when you're adding, what will happen? It will become 30, right? This container is your variable, right? So remember this thing. So the container is called variable and the value that we are putting in, that is of course so this is the idea, variable equal to value. Now, why I did this particular thing? I did this particular thing to explain you certain things. See, every variable comes with a particular type. That means this type determines what kind of data can be contained within it. If this doesn't make sense to you, let me give you a very cool example. An example can be from a real life situation. Example, if we have, let's say, one plate and we have, let's say, one glass, and with you have rice and you have milk. So which one will you keep where? You will keep rice on the plate and milk in the glass. I mean, you can do the opposite, but that doesn't quite make sense. You will typically put rice on the plate and milk in the glass. So let's say plate equals to rice. That makes sense. So the value, the container is plate and the material we're putting in is rice. And if I say like glass equal to milk, now this might look a little odd from the real life scenario, like plate equal to rice. What are you talking about? No, what I'm trying to say is that this is the container. Remember this photograph always. Container, the thing that you are putting in. So we can put in rice within plate. We can put in milk within glass. So also understand this plate and this glass will be having some certain capacity, right? So you cannot pour more milk than that, or you cannot put more rice than that. There is some kind of a capacity, isn't it? So that capacity also comes into picture. That means, and every variable, whatever type of data it can contain, always comes with a high threshold of capacity. So you can put only that much amount of. You can of course put less, but you cannot put more. That is the idea. So let us say if I try to see what is the type of X. What do you think is the type of X? That's a number, right? It is integer value. So if I print type of X, so it is like a conjugate thing happening over here. So I am printing the type of X, correct? So if I do so, typically you don't need these spaces. You will see it is telling class int. That means it is an integer. If I check for everybody will come more or less the same, but look at this D. This is not an integer, right? This is more like a float. Float means what? Decimal value. So if I try to print the type of D, I'll find out it's telling float. So what all types have we got with us? So types of data, typically we shall be working with mainly three types. One is int, one is float, and another one is string. String means text. And another one is boolean, which sometimes we shall use. Example can be true, false. So let's say I'm writing like p equal to true. If you try to check the type of p, so you'll find it out. So if I run this, you will see it is telling bool, right? Bool means boolean. So these are the typical data types we shall be working with. So let us see certain examples for these data types, actually, just for the data types. Okay, so let us write some data types examples. So print the type of 10. When I said the print type of A, or let's say print type of X means what? 10 only, right? So type of 10 means type of X over here. So I'm printing the type of 10. So 10 is a number, so it should be integer. Print the type of, let's say 2.56, that should be a float, correct? Print the type of, let's say, hey, how are you? So that should be a string. And of course, print type of, let's say, false. That should be a boolean. Let's try to see that. And here we go. The last one is a boolean. This is a string. This is a float. This is an int. Now, it is coming in such a way, it is becoming very difficult to understand which is coming from where. Let us do like this. 10 is, so what it will do, it will first print 10 is, and then it will print the type of 10. Okay, see this thing. 2.56 is, hey, how are you is, false is. Now if I run it, it will come like this. 10 is, and then this part, type of 10, that is class int. 2.56 is, that is this text, then the type, right? That comes over here. So you can put comma, 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 you can print a lot of things in one single line, basically. Okay. Just like if you see here, I printed phone numbers, A, B, C, D. They got printed over here. This comma will not get printed, but the things, in the left and the right hand side will be get printed. So can we do a mathematical operation on this kind of data? No, right? We cannot do mathematical operation on this kind of data, but we can do mathematical operation on floats and int. Let us see. Let's say I'm writing Q equal to, or let's say F equal to 2.5 plus 3.5. Now tell me one thing. I did this thing in purpose. 2.5 is a float, right? 3.5 is also a float. What is the sum of them? 6. Is 6 a float or an integer? Let us try to check. So let us print F, and also let us print the type of F. We will do in the same one. F is of type, and then type of F. This line was clear to you? So it will print the value 6 is of type, and then it will tell what it is. Let's see. And what does it say? When you do mathematical operation between floats, the output is always stored in the float manner. It is storing in 6.0 instead of just 6. So if you do mathematical operations on floats, the output shall always be stored in a float data type. What if I try to do the similar kind of a thing? Let's say attempting, let's see. Let's say S equals to high plus, let's say Pramod. What do you think will happen? Will it work? No, let us see. Print S Just let us print the output. Let us see that much, because we know if it somehow works, the output shall be, let's see what happens. Let's go for it. And here it goes. Remember, if it is of type string, plus is a concatenation operator. It is no longer an addition operator. For strings, plus is a concatenation. Unlike numbers, it is addition, right? Here it is concatenation. So when we add plus, we can actually go ahead and concatenate them. So now if you want a space between them, because it is looking little, so you have to put a space somewhere, maybe here. So they'll like come like this. Hi Pramod. So this is basically what is happening over here. So we kind of concatenating the data, and of course the type will be string only, right? The type will remain string because it is ultimately a string. If you want to concatenate a number and a text together, that is not possible. See, there is an error. Can only concatenate string, not integer. So this kind of thing doesn't work out, that you are trying to add a number and a text. That will not happen. But yes, two texts can be concatenated with a plus sign. So this is a wrong operation. This doesn't happen. Yes, I mean, if you had put this also in a string, then it was fine. Then it would have worked. Because now it is a string, right? It is no longer a number. And so we learned about a little bit about variables, and we understood how we can store value within them. We saw a little bit of mathematical operation. We tried to figure out what are the data types of certain variables. Now, the beauty of Python is this particular situation. See, if I want to, I had x equal to write something right over here. Okay, or let's take a new variable. Let me call this thing var1, var underscore 1. So variable 1. I'm writing var1 equals to, let's say 10. In the type of var1, what will be the output? Integer, right? And here, now see this. I'm copying this line multiple times. The same var1 I am making over here, double quote 10. It will become string, isn't it? I'm making this 10.0. It will become float, correct? And here I'm making it, let's say, true. So now if I run this, you will see all the four are coming. Integer, then string, then float, then bool. But the point I tried to prove over is that this particular variable, we can, in different point in our code, we can use it for different values, different types of values. It is not fixed that okay, if you are using integer once, you have to use integer throughout. No, the var1 was integer, now it is a float, now it is a string, or now it is a boolean. Everything works. So data type will be dynamically changing depending upon what kind of a value you are trying to put in. For any variable, the data type might change depending upon the value that you are trying to put in. This is one unique feature of Python, because let's say if you talk about some traditional programming languages like Java, C, this kind of languages, over there you try to write a variable and try to put a value within that. Whatever value you have defined your variable to accept, it will only accept that particular type. It will never accept something else. You have to create a new variable. But here, one variable can accept multiple types of data. This is the particular thing about it. Now that we have understood these parts, let us continue with the main mathematical operations that we are trying to do over here, right? So we saw 4 mathematical operations. There are even more number of operations. Let me show you one by one. So continuing with our mathematics. So let us say x equals to 10 and y equal to 20. And then we are playing like this. Let's say a equal to x percentage y. What will happen? This percentage, even though it is a percentage, it is not exactly read as a percentage in programming language. This percentage is known as a modulus operator. Okay. This percentage is known as a modulus operator. What happens in a modulus operator? A modulus operator will be like, if I divide x by y, what will be the remainder? That is a modulus operator. Let us make the numbers a little different. Let's make it, let's say, for example, 5. So if I divide 10 by 5, what will be the remainder? 0, right? If I make it 4, what will be the remainder? 2, right? Let us try to see. So when I do percentage, it gives us the remainder, right? So it gives the remainder. See now this thing. I try to, let's say, go like print a. Look at the output. It says 0 because remainder is 0. Correct? And if I, let's say, make it 4, remainder is 2. So it says 2. So modulus operator is for a remainder. Let us see even more operators. A equals to, let's say, a vertical bar y. What will happen over? So this vertical bar is basically This is known as a binary OR operation. This is a binary OR operation. Binary OR operation means what? If we convert these numbers into binary and we do an OR operation, what will be the output? That number. So what is the binary for 10? So the binary value for 10 is 1010. Okay. So binary for 10 is 1010, and binary for 4 is 0100. 2 is 10, 3 is 11, 4 is 100. So if I do a binary OR operation over here, write down operation, the output will be so when you do OR operation, if the two numbers are any of them is 1, the output is 1, and if both is 0, the output is 0. So it is 1 1 1 0, because here at least one of them is 1, right? So it will be 0 only if both of them are 0. So now 1 1 1 0 is the number, right? So what is the decimal for this? 1 1 1 0. The decimal for this will be basically, let us try to find out. So 1010 is 10, so 1011 is 11, 1100 is 12, 1101 is 13, 1110 is 14. This should be 14. Let us try to print a, let us see what is the output is giving. What does it give? Just like this. Binary OR operation. We also have binary AND operation that comes with an ampersand, like this. So binary for 10 is 10104. So binary AND operation. Now AND, the rule is if both of the digits are 1, it will be 1, else it will be 0. So here it will be completely 0 only, because there is no place both of them are getting 1, right? So it is 0 0 0 0. So the output will be 0. And here we go. So this is the binary and OR operations with it. So now with numbers, this kind of operations we can do. But when you try to come to, let's say, now that we talked about the all other data types, but now for float also we can do this kind of operation, because float is also number ultimately. But if we try to talk about a string, we already saw that string, the only thing we can do is just the plus. If we cannot do a minus, it will not work. We cannot do multiply, nothing. We can only do the plus operation, which will mean concatenation. For this one, Boolean, see how we can work. Let's say x equals to, let us make it Boolean. So this is like Boolean. So let's make x equals to, let's say, true. Okay. Y equals to, let's say, false. If I say a equals to x and y, what will happen, do you think? Try to figure it out. Let's try to solve it together. X is true and y is false. So true can be thought of a 1 and false can be thought of a 0. So 1 and 0 is 0 only, right? Isn't it? Because I told you in AND operation what happens? If both of them are 1, it is 1. Otherwise it is 0. So 1 and 0 is 0. So the output should be what? False. And here it is. If both of them are true, then the output is true. Both the booleans are true, the output is true. Or we can generalize like this. So if all booleans are true in the operation, the output will be true. If any boolean is false in the AND operation, in the AND operation, the output will be false, right? So the output will be true or false depending upon what is it. So if everything is true, then it is true. If everything is false, it is false. The opposite thing happens in OR. So if I try to do an OR operation, it will go like this. If all the booleans are true, false in the OR operation, then output will be false. If any boolean is true, at least one of them has to be true in the OR operation, then the output will be true. So let us see this, make it OR. So let us make one true and one false, so we can verify the output. See, first one says false because it is and second one says true because it is OR. You can also do this thing. So now here, see what we did. So this was a binary operation, but typically when we work with Boolean variables, we do not go for a binary and an OR. We instead go for a logical and OR. How is that done? Logical and or operation. How you can do it? See, or you can say conditional and or operation. How do we do that? We do it like this. Let's say x equal to true, y equal to false. So we'll go like a equals to x and y directly, and or you can just print it. Print x and y and see the output directly. No required to save it in a variable and again then use it. Directly use it. Print x or y and let us see the outputs. Same, right? False and true. But this is what you are typically supposed to use. We usually do not use this one. You may, but typically we use this one. Correct? X and y, x or y, right? So an example with this, the numbers you understood. We can, let's say, for example, read a value from the user. We can try to operate on that number. We can do a lot of things. We can give an output to the user. But what is the typical usage of this Boolean variable? String also you understood. Let's say you are taking input from a user, like what is the name? So that will be a string. Float is also fine. You're calculating percentage or division, especially. When you go for division, you will find out a lot of float value concept. But what is the use case of this one? Booleans. Let us see. Use case of Booleans. Now the use case of Booleans go like this. Let us say, so I am creating a variable. Within the variables can be created with any name. It can be any combination of text and numbers and underscore. Text, underscore, number. Any combination. The only thing is that it cannot start with a number. It has to start with either an underscore or with the text. It cannot be like this. This is impossible. But it can be like this. Oh, this is also not supported. No, this is fine. Of course, this is fine. So it can start with an underscore, it can start with the text, but it cannot start with the number. Okay. So let us say, now we are seeing some use case of Booleans. Let's say, do I have money? False. Do I have girlfriend? It's a false. And I can say, so am I happy? Am I happy equals to, do I have girlfriend or do I have money? Anything is fine, so I am happy. But the output is I am happy is false. I know this is a very, very bad example, but I think you understood the point, right? So if I run this, it will say false, right? If I have anything, let's say if I have money, then also I'll be happy. So it will say true. Okay. If I have both, then also it is fine. True. If anything, let's say I don't have money but I have girlfriend. I don't know how much happy situation that is, but let's assume it is. Click on this one, it says true, right? Clear, no? This is the situations when we use this kind of things. Talking about serious issues, it can be like this. Let's say, you're trying to authenticate a user that is trying to log into an application. Let's say you are working in nature farm. You have got a nature application where you have to go, you have to see your data. Now, someone is coming and putting their login ID, your login ID, they do not know the password, they cannot come inside, right? So that is like, this is correct and that is correct. So both the things has to be correct, right? That is like a true false. Getting the point? Those kind of situations we can use Booleans. So we'll see a lot of use case of Booleans when we further move on to our programming. So today it is like I'm trying to keep it pretty basic. So I'm just talking about putting values and playing with them, nothing else.